Step 3, preparing for flow. In this new modern world, we no longer work like marathon runners, trying to put in the 8 or 10 hour days. Instead, if you're a knowledge worker, if you're someone who makes money because of his brain, we work more like lions in quick sprints and then recovery afterwards. We need to prepare for work just like we would warm up before a massive workout in the gym. The setup, the preparation for the flow state work is incredibly high ROI. Because think of the two extreme guys and how they work. Let's say Jeffrey has no preparation whatsoever. He doesn't even study flow state. He wakes up, he knows he should do the very important task today, like studying, and he keeps pushing it off, pushing it off, pushing it off. Yeah, I'll study today, I'll study today. Oh yeah, I'll go at 5 p.m. Okay, I'll go at, I'll go at 6 p.m, 7 p.m. Yeah, I'll do it at 9 p.m, I'll do a little bit there. If he does ever sit down to do any work, he's going to be so unprepared. He's going to like feel brain fog. His diet's been poor. He's going to look through the work and it's going to feel too hard for him to make any progress. Whereas Adonis is going to prepare beforehand. Adonis is just like the best students out there who minimize the flow blockers to begin with. He already has a good diet. He already sleeps well. He's already got his notifications on his phone disabled. His phone's on silent. Then he starts to prepare for his work bout, following like a step-by-step protocol that kind of gets him into a ritual to begin work. You've probably heard of like athletes who do this. All of these top-level athletes usually have like a specific ritual that they do. I heard that from Michael Phelps, the famous swimmer. It's like, he listens to the same 8-minute song, he does the same exact stretch, then he goes up and he stands this way, and he goes left foot first, right foot. They've all got a ritual so that they can be as deep into flow as possible. And then there's Jeffrey trying to imitate Michael Phelps, and he's got like clicky knees and his feet are all flat and all fucked up, and here he is thinking about what he's going to eat after this. Which one are you, Jeffrey or Adonis? So this is exactly what you do to prepare for the flow state work bout. You might want to write this down. Number 1, you have to clarify exactly what task it is that you're going to do. Too many students especially have a problem with this. They'll just say, yeah, I'll study tomorrow. It's not good enough. We need to know the specific task. So it's not just studying. It's like revising for question 3. It's practicing the exam papers for this module. It's something very specific that makes it clear. For example, for a YouTuber, it's like record the flow state video. Imagine if I just said like, yeah, I'll work tomorrow at 9 a.m. That would be me being like an asshole to my future self, because if that's me saying like, yeah, future self, you figure it out. I'm not going to plan for you. You figure it out tomorrow. When you are ready to work, you need to go spend a few minutes to figure out what the task will be. I'm not going to plan it for you. Whereas if I have respect for myself, I'll sit here thinking, okay, what task should I prepare my future me to do tomorrow? I'll record this exact video. I'll script this exact video. I'll get into a meeting with this exact person. And you want to know a secret? Most people don't even do this. Most people, it's like so vague for them what they're going to do tomorrow. And so when they do wake up, they're just trying to figure out what to do. And the time, the hours start passing by before they know it. It's 11 a.m., it's 12, it's 1 p.m. They're thinking, okay, yeah, I'll study, I'll go to the gym and stuff. And before they know it, they've missed another day of their schedule. The best students, the best workers, the best athletes, they know exactly which workout they're going to hit tomorrow. Another thing that you can do to prepare for this flow state is to have everything digitally ready. So when I'm closing down at nighttime for, my work, I shut down at 8 p.m. What I do is, first of all, I go and plan my day tomorrow, and I've got my calendar. Okay, at 5 a.m. I'm going to do this, 6 a.m. I'm going to do this task. And then I open up like the exact page that I need. So if, for example, tomorrow I'm going to go finish the script for this willpower video I'm making, I'll have that fully open full screen on my computer, just kind of ready. I'll put my computer to sleep. I'll go to sleep afterwards. But this way, when I wake up, it's like, it's literally just there, digitally ready. So you're planning to study tomorrow at like 6 a.m. You can open up like the exact page that you'd need, just so when it's time to work, it's already in front of you. The highest level athletes pay other people to set this up. For example, like the best bodybuilders and powerlifters in the world, a lot of them have coaches that their coaches will be putting on like the weight plates for them. So imagine the difference between the powerlifter who comes into the gym and the weight that he's going to have on the bar, like to begin with, and all the ones going up, someone else has put it on for him so he can focus just on executing. That's kind of like what we're doing for ourselves. We're loading the weight on for our future self so that he can just focus on executing. You can also have the physical space set up around you. With water, for example, have like water bottles where you don't even have the lid on them, so it's ready to drink. To stay in the flow state that we're about to get into, you don't even want to have something that's like, you know, going downstairs to get some water or looking around for where the water bottle is and taking the cap off. I keep mine like this, so it doesn't even have the lid on. I keep it in the exact same place, so I can almost grab it like a robot and not even like look at it whilst I'm, you know, still scripting like that. If you've been taking notes on everything we've just spoke about, you know, we're going to be setting up the room, our water bottle is ready, the mental perception of the task we're going to do, at what time, and everything's set up, right? Now this is going to make you feel really good. Just take a second to think about how much extra intention we've just put in to just preparing to do work tomorrow. The average student or worker does absolutely no preparation beforehand and then doesn't get much done because the friction to doing the work is just so high because they haven't prepared. They start doing some work and they need some water, so they go downstairs, and here we are, like setting a new level of standard for ourselves. So if you wrote notes on this section, just glimpse at it and just think to yourself, this is what's going to make you stand apart from everyone else. Here's your actionable step for this part of the video. Have a step-by-step checklist or sort of bullet points of what your work preparation could be. So it could be like 5 things you're going to check off before you even go and work. So for example, it could be a cold shower. It could be meditation. It could be having water ready. It could be even having like coffee ready. At this point, if you've made coffee, down it all. It's way better than like, you know, sipping it nicely because it tastes nice over time. Down it all so you get the caffeine effect. Step 3.1, starting the work. Start the task with the intention of staying focused and, you know, we want to get into a flow state. Immediately, your monkey brain will start to think of thoughts or memories or anything just irrelevant. And it's so important that as soon as you become aware of that, you don't get upset at yourself. You just refocus back on the task that you're doing. Doing this feels painful. This feels like a trudge. This is like the first stage of getting into a flow cycle. It almost feels like you're trudging through snow. It's like heavy snow up to your waist and it's very slow and you're taking one step and you're kind of falling and your mind keeps going off. It feels physically kind of agitating to be here. It's quite hard. You want to go click off. You've got 10 ideas of other things you could go and do right now. As long as you keep trudging, keep fighting, you will get into a flow state. It's the repetition of becoming aware that your mind has wandered and then just simply bringing it back to the task that you're doing. Once you've repeated that process about 50 times, that's when you'll click into a flow state. At this point, what I like to do is almost have like a mean gaze in my eyes. So let's say right now I'm trying to script a video, but my mind keeps wandering when I want to get into a flow state. I'll almost like squint my eyes a little bit and look at the exact letter, not even the word, but the letter that I'm currently typing, and keep my eyes super focused. Not even like, you know, slightly looking around the room and chilling and stuff. And, you know, I'll be doing this, then I'll think about high school or something irrelevant and I'll bring it back. Okay, come on, that letter that I'm currently typing, and this really helps to get more focused. You're 5 minutes in, you're struggling, 10 minutes in, you're trudging through this thick snow and you keep thinking, you know what, there's other tasks I could be doing right now. There's something which isn't as productive, but it's a lot easier. I'm kind of motivated for that. Maybe I should change my entire routine actually. You know, that other thing is a really good idea. Keep fighting. Step 3.2, breaking into flow. If you keep on fighting that monkey brain and you keep refocusing on the task, there's going to be a point that you're not even super aware of, where you'll just have no thoughts in your mind and you're just integrated in the task, literally flying through like with speed, with really high levels of performance. You're in a flow state. But it doesn't feel very magical or intense. It just kind of feels like there's just no thought in your mind and you're just doing pretty well at the task. And that's really all there is to it. It's not going to be like this limitless pill, like, you know, this weird thing where the walls, you know, oh, like music's going to start playing or anything like that. It's literally just like how you were before, but there's just no thought in your brain. And you're just kind of like integrated into the task really well. You'll be making more progress in every minute here than you usually would in every 10. So enjoy this time period and just keep focused on the task. Every now and then you might get a little bit of like a mind wandering. You might get a memory, a little thought. It can happen. When that happens, don't indulge in it. So let's say, okay, I'm scripting this video right now. I'm super focused. I'm in a flow state. And one random thought does pop into my mind. The weak part of me might want to indulge in that thought and think about it and fantasize about it. But the strong part of me will hear the thought and kind of like squint my eyes again and super focused, you know, tell myself, no, come on, focus. Boom. At this stage, just rinse out the flow state for as much as you can. Step 3.3, coming down. At some point between 60 and 120 minutes into this work bout, you'll start to notice that you're quite slumped over. You'll start to get monkey mind thoughts over and over again. And that just symbolizes the end of this current bout of work. You shouldn't be upset at this. Oftentimes, when I first became aware of the flow state and my thoughts would like start coming back and I start getting distracted, I was quite upset and annoyed that I had like left this zone. But I realize now, like, you can't keep that going like forever, at least not as a beginner. There is a lot of spiritual teachers who say you can keep that going 100%. So we'll discuss that at the end of this guide. But for beginners who are quite new to this, you know, real world non-spiritual people, it's like you can't expect it to last for like that long. So 45 minutes, 1 hour, 1.5 hours is all good. When you notice yourself getting a little bit slumped over, your posture's not as good, your thoughts start wandering, you kept on looking at the time for the last few minutes, you're pretty much like coming down from the height of the flow and it's time to just kind of wrap up. So maybe you finish the current sentence or question. You should feel awesome about this, and you can even say it like to yourself, like, yeah, well done, I've just completed a flow bout and I actually did quite a lot. I got quite a lot done. The important thing is that you've shown up, you've had this intention, you've had an improvement today, and you're committed to doing this over the long run. So what exactly do you do now once you're kind of coming down from that flow high? What I would say is, okay, save your work, you know, wrap up anything that you need to wrap up, and then allow your brain to rest. The worst thing that everyone seems to do at this time, as soon as the flow state is like coming down, what do you think like the average person does? Mouth breathing, phone, scrolling. Don't do that. We have respect for ourselves. Don't just go on your phone straight away, even though you think, you know, it's not going to harm you. Imagine we've just done a brilliant workout. What should we do after that? We should rest. We should take it easy. We should do something that feels completely different. And yet most people will do this mental workout and then straight away overtrain by like checking their phone notifications, message, this person, okay, YouTube video, everything. Allow your brain some time to rest. Maybe the single greatest thing you could do is go for a nap. Literally just close, you know, your blinds, wear the sleep mask if you have one. Close your eyes for like 10 minutes, 20 minutes. Get up and then get ready for the next flow state again. And like you could just grind that out if you wanted. If you plan to do another bout of flow state work sometime in the day, maybe soon after this current one, then I would really suggest not even looking at your phone at all. I'd keep yourself in this very like pristine, clean and pure mindset where you've sat down and you beasted out this one task, which is awesome. You take a break, go for a quick nap. You're not like trying to fall asleep, but you know, you've closed your eyes and you literally just wake back up again and you go sit down again and you're ready to like go again. You know, you've prepared for this. Okay, come on, let's go. Water bottle's ready and you go for the second bout. Here's your actionable step for this part of the guide. Set up your routine for when you're going to be doing these flow state bouts of work. Preferably you do them very consistently at the same time every single day. So for example, you have a 90-minute block or a 2-hour block of work at the same time every day. I personally like to wake up super early. I'm talking 4:30 a.m. and I have like my work block for the next like 6 hours, 7 hours, 8 hours. I'm not in a flow state for all of that, but it's rather, okay, I'm in work mode. I'm sat here in my room on my desk. I'm ready. And in between that big block, I'll have multiple like bouts of flow state work as I'm doing right now. So figure out what could work for you. Is there a consistent task that you could do maybe every single day that would be quite demanding and it would require a flow state? Can you do that at the same time every single day? What you want to accomplish during that time? In my recent Discipline Full Guide, I talked about the concept of waking up early and eating the frog. The frog is kind of like the hardest task that you could possibly have. For me, it's recording videos. For you, it might be practicing the exam questions. If you can have that super consistent and you can do it every single day, you will move so far ahead all of the other people who just cope and waste time doing like those small but kind of pointless tasks. By the way, I've put in a lot of work into this full guide that you're watching right now. I'm recording for hours straight. My throat hurts. If you'd like to kind of thank me for that, please just scroll down, click on the like button right now, click on the subscribe button, spam the comments a little bit so the YouTube algorithm likes me. You can take like a 2-minute break reading some of the comments, getting some dopamine, and then come back up and make this video full screen again. Step 3.4. Get into flow more often. There's a bunch of like easy hacks and ideas that we can use so that we're more likely to get into a flow state. And the first one is just coffee. Just having a cup of black coffee, non-estrogenic milk or anything like that. Literally just black coffee with preferably filtered water. If you've got a filter at home, I do like a reverse osmosis filter. If you don't have one right now, that's something that you can choose to like save up and invest for. Because let me just get on a quick side tangent. Your tap water is actually poisoning you and it's destroying your testosterone and making you infertile. People don't talk about this because it seems kind of crazy, but it's absolutely true. You need to get a reverse osmosis water filter ASAP. If you can't afford one, save up for it. It should be one of your priorities in life. I'm not even joking. People really fucking drink tap water, bro. It's literally got fucking hormone, like it's got birth control hormones in. It's crazy. My estrogen has went down by about 50% since I got one. So coffee or caffeine pills can work really well. I used to drink coffee kind of in a fun way where as I was doing the task I was trying to focus in, I kind of, take a sip here and there. I've realized now like the point of this is specifically not just coffee, it's the caffeine in it. So what I do is I pretty much down the entire cup of coffee before I begin working. So that way the caffeine is inside of me. When you've got caffeine inside of you, you're pretty much just going to be more alert, focused, and therefore more likely to get into a flow state. Another thing is having the right level of challenge. To get into a flow state, the task that you're doing needs to be at the right level of a challenge for your current skills. So this is very similar to progressive overload. If we take you into the gym and you're used to doing 80 kg bench press, today we could challenge you and say, okay, try and hit 82.5 kg. And if we hype you up for it, because that's still like, all gym goers know this, even though that's only 2.5 kg, it can be kind of hard to hit that as like a new PR for the day, right? But let's say we hype you up for it and you get into a flow state because you're thinking, okay, 82.5 kg, that's what I'm going to hit today. I'm really going to try my best to hit that, right? Then you might do. But if, for example, we took you into the gym today, your usual bench press weight is 80 kg, and I said, oh, nah, do 100 kg, bro, and do it for reps as well. The challenges went so high relative to your skill. You know exactly what would happen if I force you to do 100 kg bench press. You'd start overthinking. You'd lose the flow of the workout. You'd lose your focus because you'd be thinking, oh no, I can't. No, it's going to mess up my routine. No, I had the plan for doing this. I was going to increase it by 2.5. Suddenly, before you know it, you're just completely distracted. So don't be like the beginner who comes in and tries to increase the weight that he uses in the gym by too much. Be the smart guy who just increases it very, very slightly over a long time. It's really easy to understand when we're talking about the weight that you lift in the gym because it's all numerical. When it comes to like actually the tasks that you do, it's kind of hard because how do you keep that to the right level? For example, how do I as a YouTuber make sure that recording a video like this is at the right level for me? Do you just like keep recording longer and longer and longer videos? My videos are quite long right now, but I'm not doing that for the purpose of like flow states, just because I think that these longer videos serve more education. The way that I make sure that the challenge is always up to my skill level is I keep the challenge exactly the same, but I keep leveling up my skills through, for example, reading books and implementing them and getting advice and, setting intentions to like level up one little bit. So maybe I'll look at like the camera more often tomorrow. Maybe I'll read a book on storytelling and I'll try and tell a better story. You keep the challenge the same whilst your skills go up to the point that it feels kind of boring to like do the task because it just feels kind of easy. So when, for example, recording feels like something that I don't even have to think much of, it feels kind of boring and plain and mundane. That usually means that I need to increase the challenge. So maybe I stay vigilant and speak in a way that would be more concise so that the video performs better, like I'm doing in this video. That's the challenge that I've set myself. You don't want to overwhelm yourself, but at the same time, you don't want to stay underneath your capabilities. You can also make your tasks more like a game. So a very simple game you could have if you're an author and you're writing a book on like Google Doc or something. Just look at the word count and see that as your score. So your word count right now is like 1,500 words, and it's almost like a score to think, okay, I'm going to get to 2,500 of my score, like the high score today. Oh, I wrote 1,500 words. That's like 1,500 points in this game. It's like a high score for me. And this makes you more likely to get into a flow state because it kind of triggers like the deep intrinsic motivation and enjoyment in the task. You can even use something as specific as your vision to help you focus and get into more flow states. I've mentioned a few times in this full guide that when I really want to focus, I'll almost squint my eyes like this in a bit of like an angry way. The reason why is because I've watched a Andrew Huberman podcast where he talks about literally like narrowing your eyes, not blinking, and like staring at a very specific small dot that you're like, it's a part of your task. So for me, I'm looking into like right into the camera lens, like right there. When you're scripting or you're writing something, you might look at like the most like latest sentence that's being put onto the screen. When you're studying, you might look at like each word that you're currently reading. If you narrow in your vision, usually it narrows in your thoughts as well. Likewise, if you've hiked up mountains recently, you'll know this. If you go to a place where your vision broadens out, so for example, you're on a mountain and you can see for like miles away from you, usually your thinking starts to broaden out and you start to have these very deep, big, high-level thoughts and desires. So for this actionable step, choose one small part of this video that you can see of mine that you're just going to stare at with like a squinted eye for the next like 5 to 20 seconds. Maybe like the tip of my mustache here, maybe my my left eyeball here. Stare like with a squint of your eye, and you're going to force yourself to focus more than usual.